It's time to cover the top 10 weapon mods of 2022. This is going to be part 3, but you can check out the previous part 1s and 2 down below. Number 10, Warhammer Universe Mod. For fans of Warhammer, this mod is the one to play, bringing the Warhammer universe into Minecraft with appropriate weapons, creatures and structures. For melee, you can craft heavy-hitting warhammers that are much slower, spears that are faster with lower damage output, knives that function similarly to spears, and halberds that work just like warhammers do. Range weapons here offer slings to fire cobblestone, flintlock pistols, muskets, blunderbusses, nade launchers, and gun swords that work both as guns and swords, as well as repeater rifles. As you can tell, there's some more modernistic and some more classic feeling weapons in terms of ranged weaponry. Number 9, Spooky Arms. This one is a Halloween mod which was made for the Spooky Jam contest. This mod adds pumpkin and Halloween themed ranged weaponry that's survival friendly. It adds 3 different handguns, rifles and a bazooka weapon, with a little progression which is needed if you want to upgrade them from Mark 1 to Mark 2, and finally the last version which is Mark 3 weapons, using an upgrade kit which you'll have to find located inside dungeon loot. Pumpkin bullets are the main ammo source for the normal weapons, although pumpkin blocks can be fired from the bazooka item for a lot larger impact. As you can see, the rest of the weapons utilize the same ammo, but it's more fitting that you'd have to fire a larger projectile for a bazooka. Number 8, Stupid Weapons. There's plenty of new weird and wild weapons here. For an example, the carrot sniper, which uses 3 carrots and works as a sniper to shoot far and strong. Then there's also a golden carrot version which is better and stronger. The potato launcher throws explosive potatoes with a capacity of up to 10, with the upgraded hot potato launcher throwing incendiary explosive potatoes, and there's even a poisonous variant that throws poisonous gas dispersing explosive potatoes. You can even fire eggs with the chicken on a stick, which is just hilarious. The deadly anvil launcher shoots heavy anvils at targets. If you've ever dropped an anvil on top of a mob, well, you'll know how powerful this thing could possibly be. One of the more wilder things though is the chicken mecha, that's basically a mech machine with a chicken inside of it piloting it, as well as the chicken drone which flies and shoots eggs from the sky. As you can see, this mod is pure fun and super crazy, and there's just some crazy wild features which I just haven't seen anywhere else. Number 7, Extra Weapons. This mod, adding brand new weapons to the game, bases its items mainly upon vanilla materials, meaning there's no brand new ores here to make anything, and everything's just based on the normal game's resources. There's everything from dwarven looking warhammers and normal hammers to jagged sharp edged blades and swords, halberds, maces, mining hammers and more. The coolest feature though, personally in my opinion, is the Swiss Army knife. This is the coolest item because it can function as an axe, a sword or a scythe for crops and leaves, and it can also function as a flint and steel. You'll also be able to damage endermen more, set mobs on fire, strip logs with it, carve pumpkins, and so much more. It's basically an all-in-one tool which just lets you do anything with it. Number 6, Essential Weapons. For some amazing new swords, look towards this mod. The flame sword deals 7 damage and it offers fire resistance and sets enemies alight. The icy sword does 6.5 damage and freezes enemies in place. The prismarine sword, doing 6 damage, gives conduit power and dolphin's grace. The poison sword does 7 damage and poisons hit enemies. The shadow sword does 7.5 damage and it will blind targets and also grant invisibility. As for the spectral sword, which does 6.5 damage, it will blind and glow enemies on contact. The air sword does 6 damage and it strikes enemies with lightning attacks. The quartz sword does 6 damage and it offers slowness, weakness and mining fatigue with night vision in the nether. The lapis lazuli blade does 5.5 damage and it offers additional XP reward drops from mobs. The wither sword does 13 damage and it gives wither 2 to enemies and removes player obtained wither and also grants you night vision, making it extremely powerful and lucrative. The dragon sword does 12 damage and it will deal 3 magic damage to enemies and grants regeneration. The netherwart sword has 11 damage and it gives bloodlust through instant health upon killed target's deaths. The soul flame sword does 10 damage and it sets enemies on fire and puts wither on them, and then it also gives you fire resistance. The 2 damage magic sword does magic damage which is equal to the current health of the target divided by 2, and it does a max damage of up to 25. The ocean sword does 8 damage and it gives conduit power and dolphin's grace 3. There's the doom sword which does 10 damage and it throws the target up in the air and blinds them and also grants you invisibility invisibility, strength and speed 3. And finally, in terms of unobtainable ones, there's the creative mode debug sword, which you can't craft, but it does 11,066 damage and it gives enemies slowness, nausea, blindness, glowing and wither. You can kind of tell why you can't craft this because it's just insanely overpowered. Number 5, Swords of the End. This mod has a multitude of features, from new ores and geodes, brand new enchantment types, custom crafting system with in-depth crafting requiring you to travel to the far reaches of the world, and 10 plus or new endgame swords that each have unique and powerful abilities to utilize. Soul's Edge absorbs life taken and grows stronger on each mob kill, and it can mutate at certain different milestones. Cthulhu's End is a destruction weapon combined from 8 other swords that gives you temporary god mode abilities when right clicked. The vampirical blade drains the life force from enemies and it will return this to the player with a temporary shield of absorption as a reward. The yeet cannon launches everything it hits far away and it can give increased mobility when right clicking with it. Everfrost freezes hit targets for 10 seconds and it has activated super swim abilities. Hell's Bane ignites targets and it grants you explosion immunity and it can launch fireballs as an active power. Death infects all hit enemies and it grants strength bonuses when activated. The Ender blade severely damages Endermen and it can fire non-damaging Ender pearls. Berserker's Fury grants battle strength on activation, but it will also fatigue the user. And finally, Sting tracks hit enemies and it grants a mining boost when right clicked with. As you can see, most of these swords are extremely good in terms of utility, but not too overpowered, and some of them also have downsides from using their powerful active abilities. Number 4, Weapons of the Apocalypse. Several new weapons are added through this mod, including the steel pipe, baseball bat, machete, sledgehammer, scythe, switchblade, baton, and spiked baseball bat, which are all powerful and useful in their own right. Not only this, but there's also a number of key food items and health items within the mod, like canned food, sardines, MREs, bandages, and stim packs, as well as canned dog food, which I'm sure probably doesn't taste very good. Number 3, Weapon Case Loot. You can find these new weapon cases as lootable chests inside dungeons, strongholds, and temples, and they work similar to weapon cases on Counter-Strike, letting you open them and have the chance of obtaining a special weapon drop by right-clicking them in order to unlock them. The weapons range from common, uncommon, rare, or legendary quality, each having different attack damage values based on their rarity. These weapons can be broken, good, crude, flawless, or perfect, which determines their state of durability when you acquire them. However, the key pro in this mod is how configurable that they can be if you decide to edit their config file. Number 2, Warhammers. The Warhammer is an all-new tool and weapon class that's stronger than swords but slower when swinging, making it all the more important to time all your hits perfectly and smash enemies at the key time. The great thing about Warhammers is that they behave in the same way as pickaxes do, letting you also utilize them for mining, not just combat, making them basically a special multi-tool. There's Warhammers available for most of the materials that you'd expect, from wood and stone to iron, gold and diamond, as well as the netherite one, which you can create with a reforge station to acquire, which is obtainable in a different way to the others, which are just mainly craftable in a crafting table. Number 1, Medieval Weapons. This medieval themed mod adds a series of different weaponry to Minecraft, such as swords, axes and more. It probably belongs in the Medieval Mods Part 3 video, but I thought I would cover it here. First of all, there's the double-handed axe, which does basic sweeping damage and it has blocking functionality. There's a large longsword weapon with blocking ability, a dagger that deals extra damage during sneaking and when invisible. There's the healing staff that will heal the player and creates a supporting aura, and a few more cool features. As well as this though, there's also the lance, which does additional damage when the player is riding when mounted, as well as the mace, which has a chance of applying some sort of weakness effect to enemies when you use it. And that's going to conclude these 10 picks for weapon mods in 2022. There's some really cool picks here, some based on fancy material like Warhammer, and some just based on the concepts of the creators. Let me know below which one was your favorite and why, and also inform me about any other weapon mods which I didn't feature on this particular list. YouTube says 97% of you are not subscribed, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications and slap the like button for more Minecraft mod videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.